want to talk about your new book, Hellbent. Why did you write this book, and why did you write this book now?
Hell always always bothered me, hell. Something about the majority of people who ever lived suffering forever. I don't know why, it just rubs me the wrong way, Alexis. I guess I'm just built different. It's Before my earliest memories began, I was told that I would stand before God one day, and because of my sins, I would deserve to go to hell unless that I got saved in the particular way that I was told to get saved. I made a decision to become a Christian, to be born again, to accept Jesus into my heart, whatever you want to call it. That happened to me when I was 5 years old, and hell was definitely a part of that decision. I talk to people a lot now in my little book tour that I've been going on whenever I have a group together. I say, hey, if you've ever been saved, if you've ever been born again, accepted Jesus into your heart, if that's ever happened, you stand up. And typically the group that I'm talking to, just about the whole group will stand up. They've had that experience. And then I'll say, okay, if when you made that decision, you knew about hell, it was a part of your mental model for God, and it was your understanding that unless you were born again, unless you were converted, unless you were saved, you would go to hell, remain standing. And typically everybody remains standing. In other words, the decision to be born again, to be converted, whatever, that was connected to not going to hell at some level. And then I'll say, if that happened to you before you were 10 years old, remain standing. And again, typically it's like 80 to 90% of the people are still standing up. And so my book, in some ways, especially the first part, is really just about what happened to us and how that affected us. Because for me, that idea was not just one particular doctrine. That really shaped my understanding of what it meant to be a Christian and why we should be Christians.
Mm-hmm.
And what I was raised in fundamentalism, it was much more explicit. I was raised where this was front and center in hellfire and brimstone sort of environments like Bob Jones University, where hell was very much front of mind, that we were trying to save the world from hell, essentially, by evangelism and that sort of thing. And I realized that the Bible does not actually clearly lay out a doctrine of hell. And actually, so much of what we've been told to believe about hell is not really from the Bible at all. And it was like, well, why are we believing this obviously horrible thing if the Bible doesn't even demand it? Well, I'll tell you why, because our whole theological system demanded it. And I didn't know how to just uproot hell out of my faith, because if there's no hell, why did Jesus die? What's the point of being a Christian? Why does any of this matter if there's no hell? I felt those questions, and I had to work through a lot of that. And what I found when I would begin talking online about how I didn't believe in a literal hell, I would get those questions from many people. They would say, well, if there's no hell, why did Jesus live? What's the point of Jesus? Why did Jesus die? Et cetera, et cetera. And I realized, wow, this is way more fundamental for people. And we need to go beyond where some of the previous books have gone. I realized hell was really just very, very fundamental.